Townsend Board of Health, today is February 25th, 2025. 6, almost 5:59 PM. Let's start with a roll call.
Charles Serene, Vice Chair.
Christian Roman Ramirez, Chairman. Any additions, deletions?
There are no septic permits under 1.3, so you may delete that. As well as no minutes for December 2024 because they're already been completed, so you can delete that as well.
Okay, perfect. So we have on our agenda 1.4, public hearing for the styrofoam ban in Townsend.
So what you must do, Mr. Chairman, is have a motion from the only other member here to open the meeting, then you can second it and you can officially open the public meeting.
I submitted
I submit a motion to open the meeting.
I second it. All in favor, say
Aye.
aye. So we have
the meeting is opened at 6 p.m. Okay. So what you have before you is in 2019, Andrew Shepherd was actively looking for a styrofoam reduction in Townsend. He gave a beautiful narrative starting in August of 2019. What he had proposed, an executive summary. The affected businesses in his one-on-one meetings, we have not conducted for 5 years now. If the board would like to go forward with this, Rick and I both agree that it would probably be a good idea for us to visit those establishments again and get their feedback where it's 5 years old.
I think that could be a good, that is a good idea to get the feedback from the current businesses. Probably there are businesses that are not here anymore, but or get their updated feedback regarding the styrofoam reduction in Townsend. So I don't have any issues with that. What about you, Vice Chairman?
That makes total sense. It's 5 years old.
Okay. Would you like to offer a time for public comment?
Yes, we're gonna open for the public to talk about the styrofoam reduction in Townsend. Who wants to
Any questions?
have any questions, comments?
Karen, comment, I think Andrew Shepherd, again, I agree with you, 5 years, so it'd be nice to go visit all the establishments. I think a good portion of them, after they spoke with him, even before it, went to buy, and a lot of people have switched over. There are a few that's still using styrofoam, not necessarily just their own boxes, but like their remaining food and home, I know, are still styrofoam. But I think a lot have switched over already, so I don't think they're gonna get that many, complaints or issues about it. And, we're paying for trash nowadays and the styrofoam, unless you get really, you can't recycle it, you have to dig it up, just to fit into the trash barrels nowadays. So it'd be a great thing to have just reusable containers. But, see what everybody says, and hopefully it goes that way because we can't recycle styrofoam.
All right.
I'm Irene Cundon. Have two hats on, the resident here in Townsend and also with Mass DP. Just a couple months ago, the CET, which is part of Recycling Works, just put out a reusable container best practices document for all Board of Health throughout all of Massachusetts. So I think it was passed to Carla before, but I think I'm planning to have it in a new newsletter coming out shortly.
That would be a good thing to include if this happens on our annual flyer that goes out, changes in Townsend. That's styrofoam.
That's really for the businesses of how to understand what's out there, and for the Board of Health to being on regulatory. I think you should know that for the Neshoba Board of Health. I think you were part of that discussion with CET.
I didn't see anything about it, but yeah, I'll ask around the office.
Okay, I can email
Would
it
that
out.
be something, Carla, when we go out and do the survey, to have it with you and give them out?
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, there's all new kind of things that are more supportive of reusables, that before that the regulatory on the state level was either contradiction or not straight out. So this is a fact document that and best practices data as well as resources to kind of say, yes, people can have refillables. Yes, people can bring refillables there and take it out. But you want to make sure for a health perspective of the handling, who's handling, if it's being handed to a customer, it has to then be theirs. I mean, it has to be the establishments. So there is a ways to keep people safe. We don't want, but if somebody is in their own, at a restaurant, doesn't want to take a styrofoam, they don't have to, some places would say, I have to put it in the styrofoam, give it to you, and then you can put it into your reusable container. It's like, no, I can take my plate and put it into my container and take it home. So we just need to make sure that we're agreeing on the language. And so the state has now made a document, so that makes things a little more easier.
Okay,
Okay,
good
So
to
that
know.
just came out just for this year, 2025.
okay.
Good timing, Karen.
So can we propose when we be starting going to these establishments, to the establishments that we have to,
No, we'll start, if Irene, if we can work tomorrow and I can make sure that I have that document. Rick, do you wanna take some? Do you want me
I
to
can
take
If
some?
you want me to, yeah, I mean, I would assume that 2 weeks might be a little quick. And so if you push it off 2 meetings to continue the hearing, that might make.
That's exactly what I have on the agenda, for, it's the March 25th, so not 2 weeks from now. So if it pleases the board to make a motion to continue this public hearing until March 25th, is that correct, though?
yeah.
Okay.
Who makes a motion for moving, to follow up the styrofoam, reduction in Townsend?
I make a motion to follow up 4 weeks out. I believe it's the 25th.
The 25th of March. I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments so that we can continue on with the agenda? Okay. Let's go with 1.5, JW Shaw and Sons contract proposal. So today we had response from legal counsel regarding the contract that the board had approved presenting. And they reply us back that they need to have it formatted on a certain way, that we have it here, the contract. And can you tell us a little bit more, what did they also said about that the numbers we need just to change the numbers that are on the format that we have?
Yes. Previously, this contract was approved last year and legal had reviewed it. So I feel that it's a very solid contract, but obviously the numbers and the years need to be changed. So we acquired the Word document a very short time ago. And I will be working on that to submit to legal so they can review it. But there still is the question on which proposal you want to go with, because Christian met with.
I met with Lori
liaison.
as a liaison of the Board of Health, and she mentioned to us that the $100 annual fee for the trash is not gonna move forward. However, we got numbers of the revenue about the purple bags, which was, what was the number?
360,000 we've raised. I think you sent that document out today,
The document that I had was 212.
212. I read the wrong one. Maybe the bill was 360.
That was the original goal, 360 for the 9 months.
It was?
That was the original, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So right now,
I think altogether, I have to look at it.
So the goal must have been, and then I'm not sure how to read this.
See, there's a lot of columns here. Can you help me out read them nicely?
So what you have right now is you have a $37,000 credit, which I'm not sure what that is for. But your base number right now is ending with $212,740.50.
Okay. So
And that's a
what
good
we
number.
That's what we generated. So which means that giving that information to Lori, she mentioned that, and I assume that she brought it up as the chair of the Board of Selectmen. She brought up that with this number, the Board of Selectmen is inclining to the all-inclusive contract. However, she had mentioned that she's open as the Board of Selectmen to sit down with both boards, to sit down and talk about the contract. But I mentioned to her that there's very little time left to meet and come up with something in agreement with. And she mentioned that there's a summit on March the 1st at 9 a.m. But I feel that that the summit is not a good place to talk about both boards about what we can negotiate on the trash contract. So, I mean, at this point, I don't know what will be the board's thought about either changing our position or meeting with the Board of Selectmen, because I mean, as long as the people don't have to pay more money, that is my personal opinion. As long as the people don't have to pay more money or put on more money on getting out of their pockets. I mean, and if what we're seeing here that the purple bags are going up, and there could be a chance that the purple bags could balance the trash contract. I could change of thought on probably approving the all-inclusive, but I don't know, what will be your thoughts?
Well, my thought was on the contract where it's pickup only, and then we pay the tonnage. As we lose people, the town is gonna save money. If we go with the all-inclusive, the only one who's gonna make more money is Shaw's, and we'll be locked in for 3 years on the all-inclusive. I think we can estimate the tonnage based on our numbers. We have 6 months of numbers now. And they're a little high because we went over the holidays, but we could estimate the numbers, budget for it, and adding 250,000 for the tonnage, and then the 467, I think it was. And then we save, or we have to rebudget the next year. We went over $12,000. Oops, we're still ahead of the curve. So that's my opinion, but I'm open to if the town really wants to go with the all-inclusive, because accountants need numbers. I'd be fine with that.
You have public comment, I think.
Yes.
I definitely agree, Paul, you just said that right, being that we have a waste reduction program. The more people are used to the bag program, the more they're gonna reduce. And people might come back, might go away, but it'll still reduce the trash. I typically see a 50% waste reduction, and community residents normally even still come back. It is unbelievable, 50% waste reduction. We haven't even hit that yet. I think we're close, but we're not all the way down yet.
We're not,
And
we're very close.
But we're gonna see that, and it will be strange. So you don't wanna have Shaw's number. He has to estimate if everybody's in and they do the hype to cover all of his costs.
Yeah.
So he has to give you a higher number for that. Let's get at the benefits. And we can say, if you wanna budget, you can budget with that high number on paper, but we signed for the lower contract.
We talked about that last night.
So you can have that budget line, so you feel, okay, that's the max, he gave it to us on paper, that's the max number for budgeting, but our contract moves with the tonnage.
Yes, yep, and we'll lose some people, they'll hire the Shaws direct, and it'll come out of their pocket, and we'll save on the tonnage.
Right.
If we lose people, right now, we lock ourselves in for 3 years, anybody who jumps ship and goes and gets their own dumpster, we lose, we're paying for their pickup, we're paying for the tonnage that's not gonna exist, so.
So it
That's
sounds,
my
sounds
opinion.
like sounds like we should stay with what we voted on the last meeting then, correct?
I wanna support the estimated tonnage. I don't, you wanna word the contract, it's the services only, and then we pay for the tonnage.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
okay,
okay. Okay, well, I can certainly communicate that and work on the contract as a collection only with the format that they want and send it off to town council because they are ready to review it.
okay.
Okay, so, thank you for the public for bringing up, your opinions and if that is the case, then we're gonna move forward with what we voted on our last meeting with the contract. In that case, since we are short of time, we need a motion, proposing that I, as chair of the Board of Health, can represent the board at this Thursday's, meeting with the Board of Selectmen.
If they can get you on the agenda, right now, the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen are meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Christian and I had already met when the Board of Health did their presentation, but Lori, your liaison, was open to meeting with future meetings with the Board of Health and the Board of Selectmen. Your schedule is very hard. Jim's is very hard. It pleases the board to authorize Christian as the chairman to act on behalf of the Board of Health, then that alleviates having to find a quorum to go to a future meeting with the Selectmen or the Finance Committee.
All right, and I
Present a motion.
I present a motion to allow Kristen to represent the Board of Health in these meetings.
In this meeting, I second the motion, and who votes
All in favor?
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Perfect.
Okay, so this motion is for this meeting, for this meeting only, and
I would not word it as this meeting only. I would say for the contract
Correct.
negotiations, any joint meetings that need to be held, that Christian, the chairman, has the authority to act solely for the Board of Health. Does that sound good, Rick?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, because it might stretch out a little bit farther.
Right.
We don't meet in between and it will be part of that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, so I have revised that motion.
okay. Now we go to 1.6, Massachusetts Leaders Against Litter Correspondence and Discussion.
Rick, I don't think you need to be here anymore.
I'll go have dinner. All right, have a good night.
Hey, if you run into Jim, tell him we said hi.
All right.
So you have before you a brochure on support Massachusetts Leaders Against Litter. They are basically looking for a letter to the states, letting them know that you appreciate this and you are in support of this. Which leads us into Earth Day and the townwide cleanup, which is also very important.
Okay,
So it would be my opinion for the board to absolutely support this and to have the Board of Health send a letter of support on letterhead.
And, yep, who
Motion.
who proposed a motion to send a letter to,
I propose a motion to send out a letter.
I second it, all in favor? Aye.
Okay. Okay. And then that brings us to, while we're talking about litter, Earth Day discussion, I don't know, I think Irene, while she's here, should probably talk about this. I was not at the last meeting, so I don't really have.
I thought I sent you the minutes.
Well, you did, but I think that it's better for you to talk about it.
Okay.
So I'm Irene Condon. This is Karen Clement. We're both active on the Earth Day planning. And so it's already set for April 26th at the high school. We
Okay.
already have 50 booths already paid up. So the money I think is already in the account. And we're coming. And we already have other organizations. The theme is Save Our Owls. And that is actually another thing we're gonna be residents and others will be discussing here with the Board of Health and especially with the Neshoba Board of Health is some of the bait that is required under the Board of Health that we have at restaurants and stuff like that. The mice eat it, they die. The owls eat them and they die.
Is that what we have on the agenda for the 11th?
That's rodenticide, but
Yeah,
yes.
it's the same thing, yeah.
Same thing, okay, yes, it's on our agenda for
Yeah.
our next meeting on March 11th.
Right, yes. And so that is, so that we brought in this theme, it was brought up as a community product, informational thing last year, and there are signs around town. There was a couple info meetings, and so now this is the recap of that, and so you guys will talk about that the next meeting and hopefully move forward to help because when we do something, put toxics in the environment, it comes back to us. So we don't want to promote that.
Cycle.
Yeah, so that's the theme of it, but we have all different crafts, we're collecting lots of things, we already have set for bottles and can collection, paper shredding, textiles, eyeglasses. Oh my God,
K-cups.
K-cups from Subaru. So we just have some of those things that are already going on. So we already approved, but I think we really also need the Board of Health's approval on it for police detail and the handicap accessible porta potties.
We talked about that last night as
Yes,
well.
we did.
And it would be nice if you have a motion for Irene that you approve those details for her.
So we give the money, it comes through, we pay the bill and give you
You-
more
you
money,
actually have
but you
some-
have to say, yes, you're gonna pay those 2 bills that we already paid.
All right, I have submit a motion to approve the details and the porta potties.
And I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Wonderful, thank you. And then the other thing is, we didn't really get to it at the last meeting, but we try to meet a couple more times, is about cleanup, the street cleanup. So we normally have, and Carla does a great job, we get a map, we work with the library and get it out there that people can get. In the past, it's bags, so we're still in this discussion now with the new contract of what will
Well, no, Shaw's is still honoring right now. The green bags, they will be picking up. So, and this is our 7th annual.
Good.
7th.
That's the
So
townwide cleanup.
it is the townwide cleanup. So it runs between April 15th to April 25th, which is the Tuesday when the trash starts to the Friday when the trash ends, being Earth Day week and the vacation week of the children. So the mothership of the things that we disperse, such as the trash grabbers, and this year we're looking at safety vests versus t-shirts because they're all one size.
Yes.
And have a nice little logo on the back for them.
We just wanna borrow some, I have the question is, do I have them? I'm 99% sure I have 40 in my,
Well, if you have 40, that would be great because we're looking at approximately, it was $7.95 for the vest, but then if you put a little logo on, I think it's gonna be about $10 a vest.
or you can just put a sticker on.
There's things that we could do, but we were normally doing the t-shirts. And because of the size differentials, it just became a problem.
Yeah.
And this vest you can use for other events, but I also think it's important that when they're wearing it, that it says something about the fact that they got it from Townsend. And that they're there as a volunteer cleaning the streets, and then they can go out whenever they want and they can wear
Right.
it. Which was the
I
hope
think it's
of
good for
the,
safety, yeah.
and it was the hope of the t-shirts, but I think that the vests make a lot more sense and they're very economical. The grabbers are a little more expensive this year. I found them at Harbor Trace for $2. I think it's really important, to have 25 of them, it's $75. You have the money, I could even use grant money for it, can't I?
Yes, and also my money.
And you
Earth
have,
Day money.
you have, I think there's $3,900 in there right now. So there's money there, and I think that's also important for the people, for them worried about getting into poison ivy or glass or things, to be able to have these grabbers to help assist them.
Okay,
And I was proposing also that we, board members, after we found out which streets around here, which areas
Needing more help.
that need help, after, if there's any areas that need help, that we as board members, we can select an area and do some cleaning too, as part of Earth Day as well.
Another suggestion, I mean, I haven't brought this up because it's normally a very crazy week to organize the event that we have and moving around. I normally have Girl Scouts to do the cleanup. There is, and I think we had it one year where we did have people from correctional come and help. There are a few roads, like I won't do 13. Like I say I'll do a little bit and it just depends on timing, but it goes too fast that I won't have kids on there, you know?
Yeah.
So, there's just a few areas that really need adults to do it, or you need a few. And I normally never have it, like we get families in different areas that we need to have 3 people, one watching the road, one cleaning up and one holding the bag, you know, so you need to have 3 people. And, the Board of Health could ask correctionals if they wanna have a crew come and help as well. So there are a few roads that really don't get touched, and we can look at the back, like Route 13 in certain areas.
Oh, yeah,
that-
Rule 13
And
is,
there's a couple, you know, that just needs a little more that's, you know, you could look at for my Girl Scouts, we have first graders and we have a couple 8th graders, and there's just 3 of them, it's not much. And for Boy Scouts, we only have 15 in the entire Ashby and Townsend. That's really sad. We don't have Cub Scouts, that's all we have is 15 of them.
well,
And, you know, we used to have like 70.
I remember,
And now we're down to 15. So, but we do have the Pepperell Cub Scouts coming, which is great for Earth Day. They're gonna be doing the bottles of can drive.
so we have an agenda then to call the Department of Corrections to see if they can participate with us. And we continue this in our next, talk about it in our next meeting.
This will stay on the agenda for your 3/11, it will be continued to then.
All right.
Until actually Earth Day, I'd like you to continue, you'll meet again on the 25th, and then I think that there's a meeting in April 11th. Is it? April 15th, and Earth Day is on the 19th, right?
Official Earth Day is the 22nd, just so you know.
Well, I know, but where it's at the high school.
26th.
26th, okay, so you've got another meeting on the 8th, where if there's in April, so you'll meet 2 more times on this. So
And
you,
we can talk more about the planning and where we are. And I don't know if you're able to, from now on, to put it on the Townsend website to promote the street, the streets,
oh, yes, yes,
if
yes.
we can have
Oh,
that,
absolutely. Absolutely, it goes out on social media, on all the Facebook sites, it goes out on the website, although there was a note saying that our website contract, we've exceeded it, so nothing can be posted again until the 11th of March, but that's still okay because there's enough time.
Mhm.
And this will go out, we'll also use the solar signs in town to
Mhm.
promote it, as well as it gets closer to the time. You don't want to start advertising too soon because
Yeah.
people will forget
It's
about it.
also 2 feet of snow out there, so
Yeah,
we gotta wait until you can see the ground when you start thinking about it.
Just one quick question, not question, just a comment. You said Department of Correction, but Middlesex County House of Correction sends out, I don't know if Department of Corrections still doing cleanup crews, but Middlesex County, I think, still does.
okay. That's something we'll look into that. Okay. Any other comments, questions about town-wide cleanup?
No?
Okay, let's move on with the next 1.7 invoices.
Invoices. So Carla was a little, aggressive with her schedule today and thought that she was gonna get down to Harbor Freight and pick up the grabbers. But I wasn't able to do that. So there is one item on your list of invoices that we're gonna hold off on. So rather than to sign this, which we were gonna do, I'm gonna ask that you sign the invoices one by one, because this will not total this if we take this out.
Okay,
So the first one is January and February travel for Carla. With the snow and our facility director helping, I haven't had to travel to the recycling center as much as I usually do, so it's, cut in half. This is coming out of the grant because we've been doing a lot of these flyers looking for, recycling information. Toner is very expensive, so we're gonna ask the grant to pay for that. Our skid steer, the battery is a little funky. So we borrowed the charger from the highway department, but we needed to purchase an extension cord to get the skid steer so we could charge it in the garage. This comes from landfill maintenance for $30. Weston and Sampson is your engineering contractors that do the monitoring of the gases and the leachate fields. So we have 3 invoices totaling $6,588.30, but our contract is $22,000. So this is just a contractor event.
and I think that the board, finance committee talked about raising, I don't know if it was this, there was a line that they wanted to raise up regarding the leach field gas. I don't know if you remember.
Rebuilding the well? Is that your?
I think it's probably the well, and thank you for reminding me, because that got off the agenda and I don't have it placed back on.
Repairing the well, I think they call it.
Well, it is. There's a well that needs to be repaired, and I think that that's what they were speaking of. That doesn't have anything to do with this particular contract, and this contract is up this year. So you will be receiving next year another 3-year contract. And there's really not anything that you can do. It's DEP mandates what testing needs to be done. You used to have to test annually
There
for the groundwater.
companies that are gonna bid the contract, or is it?
You don't have to go out to contract. You're exempt from 31B with trash and the landfill, but they've been there since they closed the landfill.
Okay.
So I just can't imagine anyone having any more knowledge than the
No,
people
that's
who
fine.
actually closed it.
That's fine.
Okay, Sean Pearson has asked for his boot allowance. Every 18 months, we allocate $125 for steel-toed boots for the recycling employees. He's only asking for 115 because that's how he found his boots.
Wow. Well, thank you for saving us.
GW Shaw, because the contract, we don't have any credits anymore. We used to have a $6,000 credit to get rid of the bulky, which is the furniture. We no longer have that, but it does come out of the grant money that you have. So they're looking for $1,393 for bulky removal. If you get confused by this, its last page, there's, they don't have that this part was taken out of this whole invoice. So when you see the amount, it's only $240,375 that was due, and then the 1010 was already paid, and this is when we approved via an email.
Mhm.
Do you remember
Yes,
that?
Yes. we
So
approved
there's
it.
there's a little bit of confusion going on, so I'm just trying to dot my i's and cross my t's and make
Thank you.
sure that we put
Mhm.
backup information for all of it,
Okay,
okay? And then we have another bulky removal for Shaw's, which was just 1 yard on January 9th, and that was $288. You have an AT&T invoice for my cell phone, which is $43 a month, but they're charging us $90. And again, it goes back to that bill that we signed that for some reason, and I think it's just because they're passing the accountant by the time that they invoice. The check's already been sent, but they didn't receive it in time, so we look like we're a month behind, but we're not. So again, just including the detail.
Okay,
Okay,
Okay, one of the things that I did take on myself, I hope you don't mind, is we have emergency disaster welcome kit. It's a little sticker that hopefully people put on their refrigerator and it says, hey, do you know if you have to leave, if there's a flood or something, these are the things that you need. And being the Board of Health, when I receive a Title V and a water test, it's pretty certain that the people are moving. So I will send a welcome kit to all residents. And then a lot of people will call and say, hey, I'm new. What do I do about the trash? So I will hand deliver to them because I can't put these things in their mailbox. But I will deliver recycling stickers, all the information with the recycling center, the fees, the schedule,
great idea.
hazardous waste, the swap shop. Oh, do you have your Title V? Do you have your water test? Do you have your plot plan? And it's these little Halo emergency cards. I've had them forever and I ran out and I found them. So it was $250. Again, can come out of our budget. You have the money. I think it's important.
Well, that's a great idea.
yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Performance review, we have under our consideration, Carla Walters, performance review from January 2024 until January 2025. Because of confidentiality, we're not gonna discuss, our recommendations, but instead, we already reviewed them before the meeting, so who propose a motion to approve, Carla Walters' performance appraisal, performance appraisal, 2024, January 2024, January 2025.
I second that.
And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Need to sign it, Paul? Okay.
You're
We have
going
to
to sign it and then I'm going to sign it as well. And that is all I have, Chairman members. You can see that your next meetings, you have the discussion on the first and second generation. Water size, that is exactly what Karen and Irene were talking about, and I love the owl theme.
No thing.
I think that's really gonna work well. And then, on the 25th, you'll go back to your public hearing for the styrofoam.
Okay.
Will be at the end of the 25th. You'll also again be talking about Earth Day. And that's when, hopefully we will have something concrete for, Shaw's and their number. It's important for you to know, board members, that I know that you're stressed about time is running out, but there's two numbers on the table. So the finance committee and the board of selectmen know that there's two numbers. It's not that they're out there undecisive of what's gonna happen. They have two numbers.
If they
So-
decide to go with the all-inclusive.
So, but they have numbers. They're not looking at, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do if Glenn comes back with $900,000? They don't have to worry about that. They have their numbers.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of the two boards deciding on which one.
Okay.
Well, we have two different opinions, and the select board has one number, we have one number.
Might I suggest that you bring Irene Condon to the next meeting, Mr. Chairman, as you are the sole representative, and let Irene talk. The Board of
Yes,
Selectmen, where she is the department coordinator and works for the DEP and does this for a living.
I think we should bring her then. Should we, can I get a motion?
I get a motion to have Irene Congdon there.
I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We invite her.
I'm gonna invite her
Right, we're
then.
gonna invite her.
Joking. She,
Carla?
thank you so much.
You go above and beyond.
There's a area here. Oh, down here, I don't know if you have a space.
It's okay. No, employee signature right here.
Oh, yeah.
No, comments. Comments.
Okay, I didn't see.
No, on the here.
Oh, my comment.
If you wanna comment, if not,
Great to be appreciated.
Well, thank you. You do go above and beyond. After 5 o'clock, you continue. to Take care of business. Most people would turn off the phone. So thank you.
so it's 6:39, a motion to adjourn, the Board of Health's meeting.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Excellent.